Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS, with your host, Bob Pace. I got a little curly Q in the back of my head. I don't know where it's from. Well, oh, brother. Anyway, it's a warm welcome. Good grief. It's irritating to me. Okay. Um, well, I'll have to work on that, I guess. I'm trying to adjust my lighting. Now, I'm here to fight CPS and help you with CPS. Um, I'm not an attorney or a lawyer, and I cannot give legal advice. So the advice I give you is for educational purposes only. If you want legal advice, I have an attorney. His name is Vincent W. Davis, and he can be reached at 888-888-6582. He is a lawyer who for 39 years has been fighting, or actually 40 years been fighting CPS. 40 years he's been fighting CPS. And he's gotten back thousands of children. He is schooled and educated and licensed in the area of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. That's what you need to fight CPS, those three areas. And he can be reached at that number. When you call the office, you reach reception. Make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. Now, some of the fees he has um, is that I have put a banner at the bottom of my screen that floats around. Now, one of the fees is if you want to have a reply, a text message, a reply from Vince Davis, it's only um, a $10 fee for a private text message from Vincent Davis. Now, if you want to have a phone call from Mr. Davis, it is $15, where he will have a private phone call for $15. If you want to be on a 30-minute live stream with Mr. Davis for 30 minutes, it's only $25. You send this via your Cash App, your AutoPay, or Zella to the phone number 310-308-7758. And he'll gladly help you. Also, he can be retained. For instance, in LA County, his retainer is approximately $5,000. His hourly wage is $500 an hour. But it all depends on the complexity and how long the case has been going on to firm up the price. But that gives you a ballpark. Now, for instance, someone wanted some help in Atlanta, Georgia. So it was a $125,000 price I gave them. The same price I gave to a gentleman in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Reason why it's higher when he goes out of state is he has his travel expenses. He has the air transportation to get there, the ground transportation when he arrives, the hotel for his accommodation, and his food there. Also, he needs to pay a license for that state. So that's why it's a little bit more retainer there, because he has to do those expenses up front. But he's a real deal. He is a trial attorney. and he once was in foster kids himself, so he knows about the foster system. And on top of that, um, he's a civil rights attorney, and he will fight for your case. He'll fight for your case and win millions of dollars. He's done that with both state cases and federal cases. So I recommend him. He'll help you. He knows how to navigate, and he's a real good person, very knowledgeable. And I used him as my attorney to rescue my kids. I too was a victim of CPS. I did not know that they were corrupt. I now have found out from doing my show now for 25 months and talking to over 2,800 people that there's a lot of corruption that takes place. I was wrongly accused. My wife was wrongly accused, and her kids were stolen. They were taken into um, foster care system without being in danger. They're in school at the time when they were picked up, and that was sad. My youngest was with me at the time, and he was taking my hands. There was no danger to my kids. There's no danger. It's so weird. The CPS entity, and there's I call the child protection systems found in every county in every state. The problem being is that um, you don't know which ones are bad, which ones are good. And mine was a bad one. Children are not supposed to be taken unless they're in danger. Being in school, they're not in danger. There's no danger my kids were in. It was part of their MO. That's how they operate. They like to be intimidated. They like to have policemen. When I was ordered by a policeman detective to go to my home, I wish I had known the rules because I didn't have to go to him. And they know I haven't committed a crime. So my mistake because I trusted the policeman knew what he was doing. Actually, it was the detective. It wasn't actually a policeman, it's the detective. And so the Child Protection Agency asked. There was two policemen, uniformed policemen, showed up. There was two code enforcement officers that showed up from the city. There was three social workers and five firemen. I don't know why the fireman was there. They were determined to find something wrong with my house. That's why they all were there. Code enforcement wanted to see if there's something that they could dig me on. And all they found was a loose gate and some bolts that needed tightening. And they said that my landscaping needed trimming. I had unfortunately lost my job, and so I had to let the landscaper go. But it wasn't life threatening. It wasn't life threatening. Anyway, um, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to talk about my case. I will, if it helps you, to learn the mistakes I made. And I've developed 5 rules that will help them, that will help you. Now, I need to put some other information up there on the banner about how to text a message to me. Please read it and follow it. Now, I have several people in the room and welcome. I have Valerie Diverix that sent me a heart. Thank you very much. Um, I have a lot of silent listeners that send me emojis. Emojis are good. Emojis are good. I love to receive stars too, and smiley faces and thumbs up. So that sounds good. Now I know that most of you um, or bewildered or set back with CPS. You've never seen a situation like this before. So, oh, good. We got a call in. Well, we did have a call in. What happened here? Yeah. Hi, Lisa. This is Bob with Livestream. Did you just call me?
Yes, sir, I did. I only have 9 minutes to talk because I have an appointment on Zoom.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. The show's
Okay,
yours.
good. I'd like to tell you yesterday we took my son to his pre-op doctor appointment before his surgery to move so they can remove the rod out of his leg when the department CPS broke his leg in their care. And when we got into the room, it was quite interesting. When the doctor came in after me and Kelly and our son was in there, he said that he named the social worker's name, and she was there. She drove 2.5 hours and followed us down there, I guess. And she wanted to come in the room, and they said she'll be coming in, and I said no. And the lady said something again. I go, no, thank you. She never got to come in. That upset him. Anyways, I did a couple X-rays, and then the doctor proceeded to tell me that they have the right to let these people in, and I said no, they don't. And he said, well, how do you know? And I said, because I know I have the right to his medical needs and his educational needs. Doesn't matter if the department's overseeing it. And he didn't like that. Never met this doctor ever. So then afterwards, we got the X-rays, and we go back in the room to compare him with the first ones after the rods were put in his leg. And he brought in 2 of the nurses, which I knew they shouldn't have been there. It was just because I wouldn't let the social worker in the room. And so I just ignored them and looked at the X-rays and all that. And then after that, we proceed to leave, and we're walking out, and there she is standing out there. She followed us 2.5 hours to that doctor appointment. And the weird thing is, Kelly knew about it the whole time. I said, oh, you set me up, huh, Kelly? And then we got there, and when we were walking out, like I said, she was there to go walk to the car, Kelly, get in the car, start the car, and let's go. We do not have to answer a question or anything. So I, proceeded. I put my son in the car seat. Next thing I know, I didn't even know this part. And this is what really made me mad. I told Kelly, I can't believe you set me up. The biological dad was there right in front of my face. And I was so scared. He leaned over the car to say something to our son. And, he's the one that raised me almost a year ago. October 20th.
You need to get what's called a restraining order.
Yeah.
To stay 100 yards from your child and yourself.
Okay. Yeah, okay. 100
and Kelly.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm help with my heating. Tomorrow, I guess they're going to come over and install the propane tank inside that.
Right.
And then,
did you have any medical records that you took with you when you saw the son that the doctor had removed the x-rays from a broken leg?
No, they didn't give us the paper at all.
You need to ask that. By law, you're entitled to, anytime you see a doctor, they're supposed to give a computerized printout of your visit.
Okay, I'll call them and ask for that today.
You have to, but you need to do that while you're there.
Oh, they won't let me over the phone get it now?
I don't know.
Okay,
they're gonna. I know they're gonna make you come and get them. That's really bad.
Well, I can do that when we go to have surgery. I have to have a surgery come out.
Yeah. Well, you need to have it. You need to document it so you show the court that this is a broken leg that you're dealing with, and it did not happen in your custody.
Right, and that doctor was looking at me like I was like it was me.
Exactly.
But the whole time I just kept talking to God in my head because I couldn't believe this was happening. But anyways, and so we left and got home.
You could have said very nicely to the social worker, "I will talk to you when my attorney is present." That will make it work hard because the attorney is only present in court. So.
Right. I did say that in the doctor's office. My other line's ringing, Bob. I'll have to talk to you this evening, I bet.
All right. Talk to you later. Right, bye-bye. Okay, that was Lisa Bartley from Montana, who has a case where her son was injured in the care of the CPS entity in her county. They're trying to intimidate her. They're trying to walk all over her. But she's starting to stand up for her rights. She's getting ideas from me because the social worker does not have to be in with the doctor. She still has her medical rights. And as a mom, you can detect who is in the room with you. Who's in the room with you. Now, another way that you can interact in this room is be a guest. And I put it up there on my screen. You can read it. And pick one of my 14 shows. I'm on every day at 10 a.m. in the morning, except for the weekends, I'm on at 8 a.m. When you pick my shows, you say you want to be on Sunday, Bob's Sunday morning show, or Bob's Saturday night show, or Bob's Friday morning show, or Wednesday morning show, or Monday night show. You just pick one day of the week in either night or morning. Send that off, and I can take up to 9 of you as a guest. 9 of you as a guest. All I have to do is send your name, email, and phone number. Make sure when you email me, you put your name, phone number, and email. And my show producer, I'll send it to Grace, and she'll give you a link to go to SteamYard, which is the software application I use. The software application I use. Now, as you just recently heard my caller, who was Lisa Bartley from Montana, she has a very serious case where the agency has gone bad. The police are bad too. They broke her door down. They still have not fixed her door yet. She's getting assistance to get a heater so she has heat in her place. See, that's the sad part about CPS. They're supposed to help out with families. Not only are they supposed to watch our children from and protect them from neglect and abuse, they're supposed to help out families with food, shelter, clothing, education, transportation, medical, even give them a job. That's all part of social services. They're supposed to help. They're not supposed to break families apart or destroy families, and that's what they do. 50% of the child protection systems, the CPS that I call them, are corrupt. So you got a 50-50 chance you're going to be dealing with a corrupt CPS entity. So that's why you need to get a real attorney. You need to have an attorney represent you who can weed through all the smoke screens, who can navigate because they know about CPS. You'll probably tell me, what about the court appointed attorneys? Well, the court appointed attorney are not schooled or licensed in juvenile law, family law, dependency law. They're recently out of law school. This is their first job. They take a job everywhere they can. But they're hired by CPS. So they're going to do what CPS tells them to do. On top of that, CPS loads them with 30 to 100 cases. They won't have time for you. They won't have time for your case. That's why I tell you, you need to get a real attorney. Now, if you have no money, that is a problem. I had to quick sell my home, my forever home. And it was a hard thing to swallow when you lose your forever home. I'm struggling to maintain a home right now. It's not a home I own, it's a home that I have to pay for. Not actually a home, it's an apartment, a noisy neighborhood, very little privacy. Now, people come and go and listen. And, I try to talk about what you guys like to hear or answer your questions. The problem, unless if I get some, I don't. Now we got a second person with emoji there. Wealthy GTR. Well, hello, Wealthy GTR. Thank you for the heart. Well, we got a thumbs up here too. Wealthy, great. Okay, Wealthy, thank you. I'm looking for someone to talk to. It'd be nice to talk to somebody. I've developed 5 rules. One of them I've already told you about. You need to get an attorney, a real attorney, not a court appointed attorney like I've explained to you earlier. 2, you need to document everything. You need to get yourself a notebook, 3-ring binder, 6 inches thick. Put in organizational tabs so that you can find things you're looking for. I would group your court documents separate from your social service documents from CPS. And then I would group your If you have to take drug tests, put them there. If you're taking parenting class, put them in the next subject that is done, and you can do it by date there. Um, Also, any programs you have to do, your program certificates, you need to put that in there. And you want to start also a journal. You wanted to write to your kids about what's going on. They have a right to know. They'll know when hopefully your case is over that you can show them to them when they turn 18. If they're older, if they're teenagers, they'll get it when they're 18. But the journal will help you for a couple of reasons. It'll keep you thinking about your kids and keeping in touch with your kids. It's good to write your thoughts down. Also, the journal will tell you factual information that can be used to help you with your case. From if you get a real attorney or have a court appointed attorney, there may be things there because it's hard to remember. Now, another document that you need to create is called a um, log, a time log of your incidents that have happened with the CPS case that might involve the social workers, the police, the school, the doctors, even friends or family and stuff. So you need to devote 3 sentences on notebook paper to each incident. Incidents are arranged by date and time, with the oldest first. Then you keep adding on every 3 lines. Your first line should be devoted to the date and time you call, or if you call or show up at a place. If you call, you list the phone number and the name of the place, and then you list the people that were involved, the people that were involved. If you go in person, you need to list the place you went to besides the date and time and the people that are involved. Now, your second sentence or second line should be a quick summary of what the incident's about. A 1 sentence summary. Good morning. This is Bob on live stream. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
Berkeley in Montana.
Yeah, hi Lisa. Welcome back.
Hi. I probably only have a few minutes before my line beeps again, but I got done with my appointment, and who it was the Casa man now. And I proceeded to tell him when I was on the line with the Zoom, I answered the phone, and I said, who is this? And he told me who he was. And I said, you'll have to call back in about 5 minutes. I'm on the phone with an appointment. And he proceeded to keep talking, and you know what he said? He goes, oh, what's the appointment about, and who are you talking to? And I said, call back in 5 minutes, and I hung up.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is the court appointed service advocate is supposed to help you, but they don't. They're ears for CPS. Why would they care who you're talking to or what you're doing with your life? They're supposed to be sitting there cheering you on. A casa is supposed to be like a friend that cheers you on at a football game or a baseball game. They're supposed to be positive. Instead, they're ears for CPS. They're tricksters.
Right, so I'm using your philosophy, which is absolutely beautiful, and everybody needs to know it. Yes, no answers. Seriously. I mean,
you're being respectful. You're being respectful.
And be respectful, but I'm done playing their game. I'm ending the game.
Yes, yes.
That's right.
They're trying to intimidate you.
Yep, yep, exactly. And so I see through their, I'm discerning what they're doing in their deception.
Yep.
Yeah. And it really ticks them off if you don't get upset, guys. For everybody out there, they don't like it if you remain calm.
No, they like to be the intimidator.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So hopefully I'll be on tonight to talk about whatever else unless somebody else wants to.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, sure, Lisa. Now,
yeah, I just thought that was interesting that the worker showed up at the appointment, you know, and I said to well, unless my attorney's here, and the doctor goes, well, call him up. And I go, it doesn't work like that.
Well, no, you can say he works for you. You call him.
Right.
Your attorney is a court appointed attorney. You can say you can put a request into him, but he won't show up.
I just sent her an email this morning to tell her tomorrow's the appointment with the social worker, and if you're not going to be on the line, then there's no reason for me to talk to the social worker. So.
Right. It's yes, no
Because
answers.
last week, the time before, she tricked me and they didn't call. She didn't have her here on purpose, and so it was all set up. Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, then the time before that was the first time, and then that was the first time, the initial.
What
And
about
the
the
last time, nothing.
what about the repair to your door? How's that coming?
That's going to be done this week. I just left a message. The man came over last week and measured and had to order it, and then he will come in and install it. And a really good person is paying for it.
That's good. And they'll send the bill to the police station.
Well, this gal's paying for it. I'd love to say, but I don't want to because I don't know who else listening because I have voiced that I'm on your show. So you know what I mean? Kind of like you at the Social Security Department.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, if we were talking alone and not live, I would tell you a little more probably.
Well, I've got another crazy letter from the IRS. So,
oh my goodness,
I have the state franchise board. I can nip that one in the butt, and then the IRS did the same thing. Social Security. So they're trying to get you every which way.
Wow. This is crazy. But yeah, so I'm gonna go get a restraining order. I have to. I'm sure the attorney won't help me with that.
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Yeah. So I guess I get the paperwork, I fill it out, Bob, and I take it to the clerk's office. Is that how it works?
What is the paperwork you're filling out?
For the restraining order.
Oh, it doesn't go there. That is a civil matter. You actually have to go to the police with that.
So I go to the police station and say I want to get a restraining order.
Exactly, because your guy raped you. Don't you have a record there?
I'm getting the records emailed to me as
right. And then what you do is that you tell him he's bothering you and your son.
Okay. Yep. And they let him walk. I didn't even know he was there yesterday, and then it was like, whoa, I can't. And I wrote the worker and I said, how could you, endanger me and let a man around of a survivor of his abuse, rape and physical abuse. My line is beeping. It must be the Casa man.
All right.
Let me talk with him. I'm going to make it short and sweet.
I'll be back to you. I'll be back to you. Okay, that's Lisa trying to get help. As I told her to be on the show, and I've been doing this now for 25 months. This is my third year. I've not missed a day yet. That'll help you. Now, Bartley's been with me a long time, but there's lots of people I've helped with their case, with getting their children back or hanging on to their children. All it takes is for you guys to give me a problem to solve. I'm very good about that. Who am I? Well, I'm a loving father and a husband. And I have over 43 years of marriage experience and over 61 years of working in life skills. That's a long time. I've also raised 6 children. And my children are successful. They're doing okay. 3 of them have families or married. A 4th one's married, no family yet. And another one just got recently married. Hopefully, no family yet. I'm the youngest, who's 20. The only one that's missing in my family is my 12-year-old, who's now 23, who divorced her mom and dad, who changed their name, who sealed her original birth certificate, a new birth certificate, put her step parents in there, or foster care, where you want to call them. Anyway, she was instructed at age 12 by the social worker. This is my case, coached by a CASA worker and the judge. I had a very corrupt judge, corrupt attorneys for the plaintiff, which was the social services, the child protection system, which was very corrupt. Now, my number's up for anybody that wants to call. I've told you how to be a guest. And one thing, when you're a guest on my show, the rules are simple. Respect one another in the show. I'm not here for political debate or political causes here. I'm here to answer your questions about CPS, or if you want to share a story about CPS or make a comment about CPS. And please tell me your location. It really would help. Your name and location. Now, I do talk to other people outside the United States. I've talked to 24 countries now, from Indonesia to Bangladesh to India to the Middle East to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Libya, then to continent of Africa to Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Mozambique, and the country of South Africa and its provinces. Then up to Europe, United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, and also Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I have Canada and its provinces. The United States and all 50 states have either text or called in. I've also heard from Washington, D.C. Then south of the border, Mexico, then further south in South America, north of Brazil, and on the East Coast, Grenada. Then across the South Pacific to New Zealand and the land down under, Australia and its states. So that's 24 countries. It's a lot of people, 2,800 people plus. It's still growing. And 25 months is a long time. That's 14 live streams a week, twice a day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. There's Rocky. He had called me late last night. Rocky, it was nice to hear your voice. He's from Westchester County in New York. He has a brother that's wrongly accused that lives in Virginia. He's finding out Virginia CPS is very corrupt. You're at work listening. Okay. Well, if you want to call again, I'd gladly like to talk to you, Rocky. That was nice that you called me late last night. The only problem is my show is ending, is already over. And I respect you from listening, and I want a chance for you, and that's why I let my show go as long as I did. Now it's hard here. Yes, I agree. From what you told me, your brother was wrongfully convicted. And you can follow that with a civil lawsuit. If your case is over, you don't have an appeal going on, then file a civil lawsuit against the people that convicted. Now, I understood this was a CPS matter, so you can sue CPS. If it was a criminal matter, you can't sue. It's tried by a jury, and pretty much you can't really sue on there. But that's something legally you got to find out. I know that with the O.J. Simpson case, he was not found guilty by the jury of a criminal killing of his wife and her companion or her lover, what do you want to call him? It was that scenario where the glove does not fit. But the lover's parents filed a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit against OJ, and won. So you could file a lawsuit against CPS and win too. His vindictive ex wife, well, that was something. I guess he was going through a divorce. He hasn't been sentenced yet. So is this a CPS case? Because CPS doesn't give sentencing. CPS will just terminate his rights to his child. I'm confused when you say he's hadn't been sentenced yet. CPS does not do sentencing. Can you explain that to me, Rocky? We have Rocky from New York texting messages right now about his brother wrongfully being charged, I guess, with child abuse or neglect, or both of them. I forgot. What is he charged with? Neglect or abuse or both? So that they did terminate his rights. Well, what sentence are they going to do against him? Because again, unless it's a criminal matter, CPS doesn't do any sentencing. I'm confused. Now, when they terminate his rights, did you do an appeal, Rocky? Did your brother do an appeal? The court-appointed therapist worked with CPS to help bring criminal charges when he tried to appear his parental rights being terminated. Well, I don't understand. CPS cannot bring criminal charges. Only the district attorney can, and that's only if the police arrest him. I mean, it's basically that. If it's a civil matter, they will arrest him. But what charges is CPS bringing? They don't do criminal charges, they do not do sentencing. So I'm confused of what court he's in or what he's being accused of. I know that her new husband and his ex-wife, you know, probably did conspire, but what are the charges? I'm very vague. You haven't told me what charges he was charged with and by who. CPS would charge you with neglect or abuse or both. They'll investigate it. You're temporarily guilty until you're proven innocent. You'll have a trial in CPS court, dependency court, to determine whether you're guilty of what they found out, neglect or abuse. And then you'll have to follow a plan for family reunification if that so wants to. But as far as them doing a sentencing or a punishment, they don't do that. That's up to the criminal courts. Okay. So they worked with the district attorney and the police, and now he's been charged with abuse. Okay. And what are the criminal charges? And that goes before a jury, by the way. A jury makes a decision, not a judge. A jury makes a decision if it's a criminal. Is it a misdemeanor or felony? And I would fight it in court because they have to prove it. And it was conspiracy. That's easy to show that his ex-wife and her new husband conspired. So the DA can duplicate the charges that CPS does, but they're the ones that will do the trial. And the trial is by jury, unless he waives his rights. He should have a jury trial. All right, but have they had the trial? Have they had the jury trial yet? A bench trial. Wow. Why would he do a bench trial and leave all the hands to a judge? That's where the judge decides the case. One person without a jury. The judge acts as both the finder of the fact and the interpreter of the law, hearing evidence and arguments from both sides before rendering a verdict. For a bench trial to occur, the defendant must waive their right to a jury trial, and the court must approve this agreement. Why would he waive a jury trial? Because he can have 12 people decide his case. Now, the judge will hear the evidence, rules on legal matters, and decides the outcome of the case. It involves opening statements, presentation of evidence, cross-examination of witness, similar to a jury trial. However, the judge can rule in evidentiary issues without needing sidebars for the jury's benefits. The judge makes a binding decision known as a verdict to determine the case outcome. A bench trial requires both parties to agree to waive their rights to a jury trial, have the waiver approved by the court. I don't know why your brother would waive the rights there. Without a jury, he must think he's guilty. I don't know what the advantage of doing a bench trial. The only thing I know that bench trials do, it'll expedite time and the expense of a jury selection, jury instructions, and managing the jury's schedule. There's also less formal than jury trials, as a judge is a legal professional who doesn't need the evidence explained to a layperson the same way as a jury trial would be. Wow. Now, a bench trial may be chosen, such as a complex case, where a bench trial can be beneficial in cases with highly technical or complex legal questions, as a judge may be better equipped to understand and weigh the evidence. A favorable judge. A party might choose a bench trial if they believe the legal issues of the case are strong in their favors and they want a judge to make a decision. Deciding between a bench and a jury trial involves considering the specifications of facts of the case, the complexity of evidence, and the potential bias of a jury. Oh boy, that is sad because the attorney he got ruined him. Of course, the court appointed attorney is going to tell him to do a bench trial. He works for the court, he works for the judge. Oh, my goodness gracious. Your brother was blindsided because he didn't get a real attorney. You went and let one individual decide the fate of your brother. He should never have waived his rights to a jury trial. Now I understand what the whole problem is. You can't depend on a court appointed attorney. Now, I know from experience, having been on this world for 75 years, that the jury trial is always the best because you got 12 people with different mindsets, and the chances of you overthrow them is great. All you do is look at the OJ civil case, not civil case, it was a criminal case that had a jury trial. And the attorneys, Cochran and Marsha and all the other ones for the defense, were good. All they have to do is prove some ambiguity. That was the important one, was the glove does not fit. So how they found the scenes, how did he use them to kill Nicole Simpson and Brown, her lover? I understand about financial. It's different. There's a difference between a CPS court appointed attorney and a civil. So you're saying that because I had criminal charges against me and they stalled it for a year because they wanted to use it as a bargaining chip. They wanted me to accept a lesser charge. They loaded up all kinds of civil matters against me and my wife. We were charged 3 counts of neglect. and then 3 counts of sexual. And they didn't tell us what a sexual was. That to me was a ploy. So they hope that they dropped the sexual charges, they dropped everything against my wife. I took everything and took a misdemeanor neglect, and I had it worded in the charges that because of my parents' belongings, they were too high stacked and they may endanger the kids. So that's how they wrote it up. I mean, that's how it's written up there. But when you look it up, you don't see any of that language. You just say you neglect. And that hurts my record because I can't get a job. I should never have settled. I did a bad mistake. And I was paying an attorney. And I was paying that criminal attorney $5,000 and he's running out of money because they stall it to let you go a year because they know that you're going to be. See, that's the whole crutch about our legal system. If you have money, you'll be able to bail yourself out. Just look at the 99 or 100 charges that Trump had to go through. I don't know how he financed everything. And they keep saying he's convicted. Well, his last conviction was an appeal. So I don't know. I mean, my word of advice now is attempt to get a real attorney that is trained in the matter that you're involved in. You need to look at the background of people. You need to research the attorneys. And you hopefully have some assets. I should have held out for the jury trial. I didn't. I didn't want to bring my family into court. I didn't want my kids on the stand testifying. The way it was going in CPS, it was mind-boggling. So I thought by compromising, I keep my wife out of the picture, and I thought I was selling for something. I did not know I had to do all these classes, all this stuff. I had to report to a probation person, weekly and then monthly. It was ridiculous. And taking drug tests, I had to take drug tests all the time and never once tested for anything. No, accepting a plea bargain was not a good idea. All I did is I saved the court money. No jury trial selection and no the lengthy trial. But I should have gone to trial. They would eventually dropped it in the end. They would have because it would have been too costly. Plus, they had no evidence for any sexual charges. They wouldn't even clarify what the sexual charges was. They never took a look at my computer or anything. I mean, it's ludicrous. They love to do that. They do that purposely to get you compromised, and I did. I got sucked into the game. Now, your brother, I know they could afford a good legal team. And I don't know if Trump was a billionaire, but maybe he was. But um, yeah, OJ had money, but he had no choice in his case. See, there's no evidence. See, they do that sexual charge and they don't clarify what sexual charge. Like, were you having sex with minors? Were you showing sex? Were you doing sex? They throw that in there as a bargaining tool, as a chip. You see, CPS is in control. They're in cahoots with the police and the courts. It's all behind the scenes. They knew that this man, all he had was his home, his $2 million home. And I was heavily loaned out on my home. So I had to quick sell my home for a cheap price, pay off the first and the second loans. And then what money I had left went to my two attorneys. My criminal attorney, I thought was pretty reasonable for $5, but he hardly did anything except extend the case out a year. which cost me a long run anything, and then made me want to end it. And that was a mistake on my part. I should have asked for a jury trial. My wife and I should stand before the jury. There would have been two jury trials, one for me and one for my wife. The city, that's why they weren't prepared for the expense. That's why they drag it out for a whole year. I know what they did, Rocky. I know what they did. But apparently, your brother did not research enough and listen to a court appointed attorney to do a bench trial. A bench trial is not the way to go. I'm telling anybody out there that's charged with anything, don't agree to a bench trial. You have nothing to lose with a real trial unless you really think the evidence against you is really unproven. But when a child is turning against their parents or alienated, they will say anything, and that's all they need. Because with a conviction, then CPS will do a double hammer. Anyway, where is it now? Have you has the judge made a decision yet? Because you need to appeal that case. There's got to be something they screwed up on that you can appeal. See, appeal is based when the court screws up. And I just looked at my time frame, and it's after 11 o'clock, and I need to close my live stream. But Rocky, that is very sad. I want you to know that. I know the ex-wife is. That's called they're against. She's retaliating. Now I don't know what a nole prosequi is, but I know he didn't know, but he knows. So he's got to appeal the decision. Hopefully, they can find something that the judge overlooked or something he can do his appeal on. I don't know if his Miranda rights were read. I don't know the gist of the case enough to help you because I need to talk to you. You need to call in. So call in tonight at 7 p.m., not at 8, but call in at 7 and I will talk. We will talk and we'll try to work out something for your brother. Okay, Rocky, thank you so much for being on my live stream here and talking about your case. It's terrible. It's terrible what I know now. Wow. And hopefully, I've educated all of you out there. Don't ever ask a bench trial. If you have a criminal matter, a civil matter, ask for a trial by jury. I also want to thank Lisa Bartley for calling in, and she's doing what I told her to do now. And they're now taking a second grade. She's not talking to social workers. She had a doctor's appointment. The social worker wanted to come in. She says, "No, you have no right to be here. I still have my medical and um, my educational rights to my child." And so Lisa's learning slowly. She's being affirmative. She's getting her door replaced, the police knocked down at their expense. She has a heating unit put in so she has heat in there. She set up the house. It's not cluttered anymore and it's organized with the area for her 5-year-old to do homeschooling, which she has a right to do in the state of Montana. She can homeschool her child. She should always make a arrangement with the school district and let them know what she's doing with her child. I imagine there's some forms or something there. So yeah, call again tonight, Rocky. I agree. You are appealing the wrongful conviction. And it's going to be hard because you can't appeal based on the ruling. You got to appeal that the judge did something irregular. Appeal is a complex process. You can't bring in more evidence, and you can't. You have to be seen what procedure was done wrong or disadvantaged against your brother. That's what you have to look for. What did they do that didn't prevent your brother have a fair trial. Whereas constitutional rights or civil rights violated, you have to do some research on that matter. You can find something. Right now, they're investigating Bullen, the ex security defense person for Trump's first presidency. They'll find something. They always do. And it's not Bolden. It's anyway. They have not charged them yet, but they'll find something. They'll find something. Anyway, thank you all for being a part of this show. Thank you for the emojis. I had two of them, a thumbs up and a heart, and I had Wealthy GTR and Valerie Devrunex um, do the love one, and then I had um, Wealthy GTR do the love and the thumbs up. So there'll be a brief video at the conclusion of my video here. Wow. Be careful you're not getting the conviction of CPS and the conviction of the criminal court mixed up. Be very careful there. So do not give up. Come here, listen me out. Do not give up on your child. Keep fighting for them. Please listen to the video at the end of my talk. God bless you. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left. Put your